By the way, guys, actually, I've been reading this book, Pimp, and just a little follow up on last week or last time we recorded, whenever that was. I think one of the pimps uses the word chicken-hearted.
Chicken-hearted?
Yeah, which is, this book takes place around like the 1930s. So I feel like that chicken-head, chicken-hearted thing is a kind of slang that's been going on a lot longer before, Eve and Eazy-E and all those guys, just to...
Do you think it's maybe just kind of like developed from this lingo back in the day?
Yeah, that's what, I reckon.
Do you think it means the same thing, or do you know? Is there a glossary in that book?
There is, but I don't think chicken-headed was in it. There is some hilarious glossary things, like a chili pimp is a pimp with one hoe.
Because he's cold? Is that like...
No, because he's just a chili pimp. He doesn't have enough hoes, I think.
Yeah, what's the chili part? Is that because he's like,
dude,
not surrounded by hoes? He's big and old?
Let's not get into the etymology of these things too much. Probably best to just look at it on face value. Okay,
a kitty is a Cadillac. There's some actually interesting, like, girl for cocaine.
Girl, okay.
Like, we've done some songs where white girl.
Yeah.
So it seems like that's one been going for quite a while.
But just girl, they say there.
Yeah, they just said girl, like, and he's even said it in the book where he's like, you want to have a little girl, which sounds weird. Yeah. Anyway,
interesting.
And I guess
a little follow up.
Yeah, and maybe some kind of segue here is that this pimp book, on the cover of it, you have a well dressed young gentleman, and I guess you could say that the artist we're doing today is also a well dressed young gentleman.
Oh yeah.
You could maybe say that Old Slim was possibly inspired by Iceberg Slim.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Old Slim, you mean Old Slick?
Slick, yeah, sorry, Slim. Old Slick.
Yeah, let's not leave people in hanging. Well, they'll know from the fucking title of the episode what we're doing. We're doing a Slick Rick song. Yeah, you haven't done your intro yet. You did that great preamble on...
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Reading.
Welcome to our rap reviews. We've got Ben and Kieran and me. Hi, me.
Hello.
Still doing that dumb joke.
See how much mileage you can get out of it.
Fucking ram it.
Is that another reference to Iceberg Slim mileage? Do your research.
Yeah.
But it is he's a brilliant writer, but Jesus, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Learning the inner workings of a pimp, how you break her down.
So is it an autobiography?
How you trick her out. Huh?
Is it an autobiography?
Yeah. It seemed like he turned his life around a lot towards the end of his life, and he kind of got a family and all that. But it's him, talking about his days as a ice cold pimp.
That's a lot of talents to have. Not only running, a pimping business, but also to be a well versed writer and be able to autobiograph yourself.
Yeah, and like I feel like it's influenced a lot of other writers and even probably rappers actually, like that book.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like he really does kind of paint the picture of that classic kind of pimp.
And this wasn't a book you
pimp.
even like sought out, was it? This is one you just found at the op shop.
Yeah, but I knew about it because I heard Dave Chappelle talking about it, like a little special.
Some would say that it's fate that you came across this book, Romano.
It was.
It was a pretty amazing pickup, also.
Yeah.
For how much? $4?
Yeah, $3 or $4.
If we made any money off this show, you'd be able to write that down as a tax expense.
Do you reckon?
A bit of product research.
I don't know about that.
I reckon you could get a shady accountant.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure old mate Iceberg Slim has.
Yeah, he actually wrote him some fiction as well.
Did he?
So, yeah.
He's got a few books just about his life though too, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's like, man, I tell you what, like his command over the English language for a guy who grew up in like Paul. Huh?
Does he rap? Maybe we could do a
No,
show
this was like
him.
his I guess reign as a pimp was pre kind of the rap era, really.
Yeah, what did you say? It was 30s.
Yeah, like 30s, 40s Chicago.
That early.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of old people, and to not derail us too much off track, we are doing Slick Rick, and this will, I think, be the earliest rap song we've annotated to date on Rap Reviews. Children's Story, which we're doing today, came out in 1988.
Damn. It's pioneer era.
It is. And Slick Rick is a pretty notorious character in the world of hip hop. You'll recognize him from the eye patch he wears. Do either of you know why he wears that eye patch?
No, I actually have no
saw
clue.
that it was an injury he had as a kid.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bit of glass or something.
That's it. He got a bit of glass in his eye as an infant, been blind in that eye ever since.
Yeah, I never knew that. I always thought it was just like a choice.
Yeah,
Fashion
just
choice.
like a fun fashion accessory.
Yeah,
No, it's
something.
actually because he has a disability. He's gets to, really rock that eye patch with a bit of authority.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Shit. pretty pirate-like though. It suits his like
It is.
rap image. You ever
And
seen that
he's-
photo of like him no shirt on, gold chains, and 2 little pistols in his hand?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it looks fucking sick.
And he's got like great fashion sense as well. Probably one of the most fashionable rappers of the era.
Well, even in the photo here for Children's Story, the single's just like this fur beret that he's wearing with the eye patch, his little moustache. He's got like seemed like a loose turtleneck on. It's a good look.
Yeah. And also this kind of ties into a song we've reviewed earlier on Rap Reviews, Nas's Cop Shot the Kid. And Nas himself...
Were those that you use a sample, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nas himself took to Instagram after he released that track and paid his homage to the one and only Slickitus Rickitus.
Well, also, like, he came out of the Bronx, New York, which is basically where kind of hip-hop that we know today was kind of formed, right?
Well,
Yeah,
he moved to the Bronx when he was 21.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He grew up in England originally, didn't he?
Yeah, he was born
Yeah.
born and raised in London. London town. That's why he has like a bit of a inflection, like an English inflection
Yeah.
to his raps.
No
Kind of
shit.
like this bass. Well, you can definitely hear. I think it sounds probably more English than it does like American in terms of the accent.
Yeah, it definitely separates him from other people as well. As soon as you hear like Slick Rick on a song, it's like undeniably Slick Rick.
Yeah, very
it works in his
unique in that
favour that way.
sense.
Also shares a similarity with old MF Doom. Born in London and...
Yeah, there you go. Well, I mean, at least probably Slick was naturalized as a citizen, whereas the US were fucking MF Doom around.
Until they added him to the to the playlist.
So rough. Anyway, should we get into it, fellas?
Let's do it.
Now, here's a little something that needs to be heard. Intro. Uncle Ricky, could you read us a bedtime story, please? Huh? Please? All right, you kids get to bed. I'll get the storybook. You all tucked in? Yeah. Here we go. I mean, does this really need any explanation?
No, he's just setting the scene and the, I guess, like the thematics of the song, how it's, you know, trying to inform the youth of what can happen if you stray the wrong path.
Yeah, totally.
But he's
Bit
like
of-
putting in this really fun kind of self-aware way where it's like, you know, like, yeah, you know, these kids are super happy to hear this, like,
yeah.
what will be a terrible tale, you know, from memory.
It's it's such a classic trope to be like, everybody get comfortable, get yourself ready. Here
Yeah.
comes the story. Tuck yourself in.
It's like The Princess Bride, but with a bit more grit to it when it comes to the story. But also the same charm, I would argue.
Inconceivable.
We go into the verse. Once upon a time, not long ago, when people wore pajamas and lived life slow, when laws were stern and justice stood, and people were behaving like they ought to. Good.
It's a great
It's a bit Dr. Seussy, like, as well.
Yeah, it is.
It is
Yeah.
very.
Yeah, I guess intended because it's a children's story.
Yeah.
I couldn't really tell if he's like trying to say, you know, back in the day everything was beautiful and sweet and was harmonious and almost utopian, and now things are like going down the gurgler, or whether it's like maybe a little bit tongue in cheek and being like things are still awful, but anyway, for the sake of this narrative, we're gonna pretend that everything was beautiful, back in the day.
then. Yeah. I don't know. Also, like with the pajamas, like, what does that do? Do you do any research on that? Because that is always like, I've never
It's kind
understood.
of like a sleepy city sort of thing, I guess. Everyone's moving real slow.
Kind of like Whotown.
Whoville.
Whoville, sorry.
They're not sleepers. People are insane.
Dr. Seuss references just get stronger and stronger. Has
I was a
Slick Rick
huge
been
fan.
moonlighting as a rapper this whole time, when in reality he's Dr. Seuss? There's actually minimal annotation of this song on Genius, but I think the pajamas is going to become apparently clear as we go through the lyrics, and the protagonist or antagonist, depending on how you look at it, that he's going to start describing now in a hot second.
Yeah, I think he's been a bit sort of tongue-in-cheek also, because it's like when you set up like a conventional children's story, it's always like a very nice setting that it's set in, and it's his way of being like, all right, children, making out like it's going to be a typical children's story.
I think the pajamas maybe reminds me almost like World War II kind of Holocaust in a way, like maybe because of the book.
You went real dark with that one.
Well, I don't know. It just has always reminded me of that. You know?
Yeah, okay.
Maybe it's just because of the book.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't say anything about him striped at all.
Yeah, well, a child does die at the end of this, much like in Boy in Striped Pajamas.
I'm not sure if you're giving away a few spoilers here, Romano. Cool your jets.
We'll wait and see if there's any correlation between the two as we go.
I think I'm reaching really fucking hard as well.
Cool your jets.
Yeah. Sorry for the spoiler alert, guys, from a track that came out fucking 40 years ago.
There lived a little boy who was misled by another little boy, and this is what he said. Me and you, tonight, we're going to make some cash, robbing old folks and making the dash.
Just to go back again, two little boys in boy in striped pajamas, one side of the fence, one on the other. All right, I'll stop.
You see, I was thinking that the pajamas refers to the fact that, and like he's saying that the world was great before, you know, the kind of nefarious elements came into it. I think he's kind of just describing this boy's innocence.
Yeah.
And pajamas like a symbol of innocence.
Yeah, because you often wear pajamas when you're a kid and you kind of outgrow it.
And just a nod to the fact that it's a children's story, you typically would tell a kid that while they're in their pajamas in bed.
Yeah. We don't know what these lyrics mean though, so you could be right. Maybe.
No, I think you guys got me there. I'll give up on the whole Holocaust theory.
There's going to be one line in here. Like a few lines. You're just going to be like, it makes sense.
Just with a fucking string wall.
So just quick recap. Boy been taken by his friend, kind of like in Mad City last week where Kendrick got that job as a security guard and was encouraged to do
something bad, some nefarious activities.
Fired because he was inspired by all of my friends.
Lots of circle references here that we're doing, which I like. We got to get
tying it all together.
I almost tied something back to the JPEG one then too, and I was like, stop yourself. It's too much.
One circle back reference every break.
Yeah.
We got to reference another episode of our show every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not doing it right.
They did the job. Money came with ease, but one couldn't stop.
It's like he had a disease.
You even bit. I'm glad you did it because I was.
I haven't heard that track in fucking years. Great line though.
It sounds like he's got. You know how everyone always talks about getting back from overseas and being like, "I got the travel bug." Well, in this case, they've got the robbery bug.
Yeah.
Well, one does, it seems.
Good taste for it.
Did you guys ever have guys like that in high school you were friends with or you knew from high school and they kind of went down that path and
Yeah,
little things kind of snowballed.
It would start with like racking shit from like supermarkets to the point where they had like a full system down packed for going into Myers and like I won't name any names, but a good friend of mine I think was given a lifetime ban from Myers Karen up for taking like Tommy Hilfiger stuff, going into the change room and like just ripping off the security tag and walking straight out.
Yeah.
Eventually caught up with him.
Yeah. But who's you've ganked something before, right?
Oh, I've ganked things before, for sure. And I probably shouldn't be saying this on I'm not going to say where from, what times. Not going to give any incriminating details other than, we've all probably stolen something.
Yeah, I stole some Ovaltinis once from a Franklin's in the 90s.
I actually became like this kid for a while, actually, myself. I got pretty into it and I had to pull myself out.
Yeah, I can see you're going to be a klepto.
I think it's the rush, Seriously.
One of my earliest memories of doing like wrong was going into Bunnings with my old man and pleading with him, like begging him for some nails because I just wanted to like hammer some nails into a plank of wood. Typical kid shit. Yeah. He wouldn't buy them for me anyway, so he went off and went and got his paints and whatnot. We never had Foxtel. Maybe my klepto ways wouldn't have developed if we had Foxtel. So I took it upon myself to get these nails, put them down my pants, and walk out with them, and then just did the dumbest thing afterwards, which was go home, get that plank of wood out and start hammering all these nails into the wood. It's like, where'd you get those nails? I was like, oh I don't know, found them.
He didn't drag you back to the store and teach you a lesson? Or
No, I think he was probably too embarrassed to do that.
Probably stoked he has some nails.
Yeah, it's like, fuck yeah, actually, I needed these.
Plus, what's nails really worth?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where we get into a deep philosophical and ethical argument about stealing from big corporations like Bunnings, but...
I think if you are going to rob people, rob big corporations, definitely.
Sure.
Don't do any home invasions and don't rob other,
everyone's
people in the gutter with you, I reckon, definitely go rob
like lots of Woolworths, Bunnings.
CEOs, guys with huge amounts of money.
Yeah. Take little bits where you can. Don't. Yeah.
And we can slowly topple the powers that control us.
That's it, a redistribution.
Every nail and candy bar at a time.
He robbed another, and a sister and her brother tried to rob a man who was a DT undercover.
Yeah, so he fucked up,
Yeah, eventually.
Caught up with him.
Yeah.
which, I think crime often does.
I mean, I feel like a lot of criminals will go their whole life without having any kind of like hiccups, anything untoward come to them. So to be like, getting involved in robbery and then to suddenly rob a cop is, I don't know, I feel like it's a bit unlucky for this kid. The cop grabbed his arm. He started acting erratic. He said, "Keep still, boy. No need for static." Punched him in his belly and he gave him a little slap. But little did he know the little boy was strapped.
Ooh.
So an altercation has now broken out.
It has.
Yeah. What else do we really annotate from that?
Yeah, not much.
I feel like it could be starting just from that line, almost that sort of hinting at a bit of potentially police brutality and violence as well.
That we could be
Instead of
going
just
down that
apprehending the
path.
criminal, it seems like he took a bit of took advantage there and sort of attacked him a little bit. And then the kid was strapped, which was also like, it's regulated on the streets. Then we're back to that conversation again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like this is just circumstantial from where they're at.
Yeah.
Shit's about to get real.
Yeah,
In other
I feel that's
words,
where it's going. I was going to say we'll wait and see, but somebody already spoiled the ending.
Once you have guns and crime and police officers, it's just a recipe for
In the
disaster.
80s as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yikes. This is before like they were recorded beating people.
Yeah.
This is
They
like
get away with literally murder. They still get away with murder, but to a somewhat
Lesser extent.
Well, at least it wasn't in LA. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know how much better NYPD were in the 80s, but
I
Yeah.
think they were still probably brutalizing bastards.
yeah,
but
definitely.
well, even the cops in Australia in the 80s, like in New South Wales, like famously just super corrupt.
yeah, taking kickbacks from the Ibrahims.
Yeah.
Or was the Ibrahims like more 2000s? I don't know.
No, that's more 2000s. Yeah, that's before their time.
We weren't talking any shit about them because we live in the same city as them.
Yeah.
And a big underworld figure was shot the other night, eh?
Yeah, in the city, right?
Yeah, hectic,
Oxford,
right? Crazy. Anyway, let's not delve into it. We're not a crime podcast.
No.
There's enough of those.
Yeah, we differentiate ourselves from them. The kid pulled out a gun. He said, "Why'd you hit me?" The barrel was set straight for the cop's kidney. The cop got scared. The kid, he starts to figure, "I'll do years if I pull this trigger." That's showing a lot of like kind of foresight, knowledge of the consequences of if you pull a trigger on a cop. Maybe that's just common knowledge. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
should
yeah.
be, really.
One can only assume that you're going to do some serious time and there's going to be some awful repercussions if you kill a cop.
Yeah.
Especially in the, apparently in the, using a bit of slang I've been picking up in this book, in the pen.
Of all the slang words you picked up to drop in this episode,
Wasn't
pen-
even in the book as well. But I hear you have an awful time if you kill a cop in jail because the guards make your life.
Oh, yeah, can imagine.
Screws, actually, fun fact, screws is still used for guards. That's a word that he uses in that book.
Calling
From the
them
30s.
screws.
Yeah, like guards are often still called screws.
specifically referring to
Like
prison
screw guards, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because I heard my dad use it. Because, fun fact, my dad's been to jail. but yeah, he talks about guard. And then I heard it the other day in a rap song. Yeah, so it's still current. Another word that's been going nearly 100 years strong.
Yeah, right. Sick.
Yeah, good times.
Screws all round.
Got a couple of
I don't
loose
know why I
screws.
said that.
Yeah, cut all of that out.
Oh, maybe.
Cut the
We'll
whole
see.
episode.
Yeah, right. So he cold dashed and ran around the block. Cop radios in to another lady cop. He ran by a tree. There he saw his sister. Shot for the head. He shot back, but he missed her. So this is an actual sister, just for anybody who was confused. When they refer to a sister, they're referring to a female police officer in this circumstance. Young boy's now on the lam.
Yeah, and he's attempted murder, which is not great.
No.
Speaking of prison lingo, the phrase "on the lam" wasn't in this song, but I was like, where does that term come from? So
What phrase, sorry?
On the
on the
lamb.
lam,
On the lamb.
you never heard it before?
Really?
It means to be
maybe.
like
On the run, yeah.
Basically, you're a wanted fugitive. You're on the lam.
Yeah,
Means you haven't been caught yet, but you've got like dossiers and warrants out
Right,
for your
right.
arrest. But
So I'm assuming that you found out why that expression is called that?
I do. Would you like to hear, or are you not interested?
Yeah.
Well, I really hope you didn't set it up for no reason. Like, do you guys know? Because I don't.
Because I do. Anyway, moving on. So this is taken from a New York Times article, and there's a book called The Random House Historical Dictionary of American Slang. The author defines the term as prison lingo for an act of running or flight, especially a dash to escape custody. And he goes on to say, in his 1886, 30 Years a Detective, Alan Pinkerton, who I'm guessing is the author of that year, the author of that book, 30 Years a Detective, his first private eye explains an operation of pickpockets. After he secures the wallet, he will utter the word lamb. This means to let the man go and to get out of the way as soon as possible.
To run, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit of pickpocket slang for you.
There you go. Fun fact. Good job.
Man, we're full of fun facts today.
Yeah, I think this is probably the most educational episode of Rap Reviews we've ever done.
Yeah, and the lyrics really don't have any historical references for us to pick up on. This is just the magic of Slick Rick.
The slickness of Rick.
Looked round good and from expectations, so he decided he'd head for the subway stations, but she was coming and he made a left. He was running top speed till he was out of breath.
So yeah, he's on the lamb.
Yeah,
He's on
and
the lamb.
his fitness caught up with him. Fuck, man, if you're going to be doing robberies, make sure you're nailing at least 12 or 13 on the beep test.
You're waking up for those 5, 6 a.m. wake ups and just going for a sprint.
Yeah.
Going for a
Are you
run.
training for a marathon or anything? Nah, just to evade cops in case they get caught.
Also, if you're a listener and you do wake up early to go for a run, can you tell me why? Just send it in. I
Yeah,
wanna
especially
know.
before the sun comes
Yeah.
up. It's genuinely insane.
You people make me sick.
People have things to do in their day. I'm just going to be on this side of these people who go running because they're not here to defend themselves right now. I wouldn't do it personally because I'm not a morning person, but if you got shit to do in the day, maybe you want to get up, get your pump on, get the heart racing, get some endorphins.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, I get it, but
Yeah, I shouldn't judge them because they're like probably healthier than me and
Probably.
more organized.
Is that what it is?
Definitely.
Is that what it is when you're half asleep on the way to work in the morning on a bus or something and you see these happy people walking past and it's just a little bit of like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah,
For
I know.
being so in control of your life. How
And also,
dare you?
because I'm just miserable when we wake up for work
yeah,
in the
me
morning.
too.
Like, we're early and it's like, I just want to, I'm just so morbidly depressed for the first hour and a half, 2 hours. And then you see these people who are just on their own terms, like up,
Not even
jogging.
Not even with a coffee in hand.
No,
they
not
get
getting paid
happiness. They
for
get
it.
happiness without a stimulant.
But I imagine if you do wake up, you go for a jog, you come home, you have a shower and shit, do a bit of cleaning up because you're jazzed up, you got the endorphins flowing. You must feel great that by like 8:30, 9 o'clock, you've done like a certain amount of activity
Oh, yeah,
already.
mate.
And when you're
Yeah.
rocking into the office, that glow is there. And for people like us who see that, we're just like, shut the fuck up, don't talk to me.
Yeah, like people who wake up for a surf, like respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could never just wake up at 6 o'clock to go for a surf.
Surfing I can kind of respect a bit more than jogging. That's like a much more committed pastime, and you also got to brave the waves out there.
Yeah, and you do spend like a nice amount of time just sitting on the water, just like
Yeah. Gathering your thoughts for the
fun.
day.
It's good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I don't see how people find running stimulating or fun.
No,
No.
but maybe we'll never understand.
Maybe not.
Maybe once we hit like a certain age, there's just like a trigger in your brain which just flips, and then suddenly you're like, oh, well, now I suddenly enjoy licorice and going for runs.
oh, I like licorice now.
Hey, there's something wrong with you.
I've liked licorice since I was a kid.
Okay, yeah, there's.
Dude, I like when I was a kid, I like black salted licorice.
Oh God.
I'm like a full 50s child.
Okay, we're not going to get into that because
Yeah, whatever, guys. My mom got me into it. It's good shit. Fucking you have a dumb palate, clearly.
dumb palate. No,
Your palate is not
I've
sophisticated.
got a normal palate. That's what I've got.
I don't know. I bet a bunch of people would disagree. Us licorice guys out there, we're out there.
Don't look at me. Like, I'm a licorice guy. I'm not going to back you up.
What about red licorice, you fucks?
Oh, dude. Red licorice?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it can fuck
Come
with
on.
a
That's not even
little-
licorice,
yeah.
basically.
That's just sugar in a stick.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
Domination.
I actually don't even hate licorice. I don't know why I'm so staunchly against you on this. I don't mind.
So you could have backed me up.
Yeah.
knocked an old man down and swore he killed him. Then he made his move to an abandoned building, ran up the stairs to the top floor, opened up the door there. Guess who he saw? Who?
Who?
Who did he
guesses?
see? Dude?
No, but
right.
also he's like he might have possibly killed another person. Or, he's at least another count of attempted murder.
Well, he swore he killed him, but I'm not sure if we're confirmed that he's killed him yet. But yeah, maybe some sort of like intent to kill, conspiracy to kill.
Also in the book, Native Son, I believe, it's just like a 50s book. This is kind of where he dies in an abandoned building, when he gets chased by the cops.
Right.
So possibly a little reference.
Yeah, okay.
Because that is like, I think in that story, it's like an Italian kind of kid, like poor kid, but maybe the same kind of like, like it's about a guy turning down the wrong path. And
That's
it could be a
that's a
reference
real
to
good
that.
pickup. Again, this song has 0 annotation on it, so maybe we should be jumping in and giving our 2 cents on it, like we've been saying for the past fucking 2 years.
yeah, we're never going to get around to it.
So opens up the door. Who's there? None other than Dave the Dope Fiend. Dave the Dope Fiend shooting dope, who don't know the meaning of water nor soap. He said, I need bullets, hurry up, run. The Dope Fiend brought back a spanking shot gun. Fucking Dave, what a guardian angel, just being there at the right time. It's like, oh, hey, let me just pop out and go and get one of these brand spanking new shotguns that I
feel like that was Dave's opportunity to talk someone off the fence, though. I feel like Dave just made his life worse just by
I don't think Dave
supplying
is
him.
like the most
seeing as-
clear-headed fella in the world.
Yeah,
it
well,
sounds, but
You shouldn't go to a crackhead for these kind of things.
Probably not. I'm surprised he didn't just say, Dave's not here, man.
That's way too like, hey man,
Hey, man.
hey man. That guy's not gonna be like, oh, we're gonna get a shotgun, man, blow your fucking skull off. It's not very hippie.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's...
Fucking kill them all, man.
It's like, yeah, I got a shotgun in the back.
yeah, exactly. That's more Dave.
Yeah. That's more Dave.
I got a shotgun. You want a shotgun?
We found Dave. We got it.
I'm glad we
Just got it. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'm glad we clarify what Dave sounds like. He went outside, but there was cops all over. Then he dipped into a car, a stolen Nova, raced up the block doing 83, crashed into a tree near University.
Whoa, is that like a little sneaky being like he could have
Oh,
taken that path and gone to university in the end? Instead, the only way he's getting to university or close to is by evading them cops.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
I hadn't
good.
even thought of that.
That's a cool line, right?
That is actually a
That's
really
sick.
good line. Yeah.
It's so subtly and sneakily thrown in there.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
just like thrown right in your face. That
Yeah.
This could have been you. You could have been like, studying to be a doctor or a lawyer or a business executive. And here you are partaking in a life of petty crime.
Exactly. And the fact that he even says a tree near a university, not even, he didn't get into the university. It's like,
Yeah.
you can't even hit it, dude. Like, you like,
You fucked up that bad. You can't even crash a stolen car into the...
Good pick up, Penny.
yeah, good line. I like that.
Escaped alive, though the car was battered. Rat-a-tat-tatted, and all the cops scattered. Ran out of bullets, and he still had static. Grabbed a pregnant lady and pulled out the automatic. Yeah, shit's taking a real sinister turn here.
Rat-a-tat-tat, just referring to the shooting of the gun, the shotgun, right?
Yeah. So the bullets,
right.
he's spraying around.
He's unloading that gun he got from Dave.
Dave. Dave the Dope Fiend.
Or Dave.
No, unfortunately, he didn't see that, Dave. We probably should have seen that, Dave.
Yeah, he would be like, don't do it, man.
Just hang out, man.
Smoke a joint, man. Chill.
Pointed at her head, and he said the gun was full of lead. He told the cops, back off, or honey, he is dead. Deep in his heart, he knew he was wrong, so he let the lady go, and he starts to run on.
Yeah.
Dude has a good conscience, but fucking poor decision making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. Now that it's like starting to build up towards the end here, it seems that he's very much point is that like, due to like just the circumstances of taking the wrong path, he's not necessarily choosing to do these awful things, but just due to the environment, that is like the next logical step for him to get out of the situation he's in, and it just happens to be worse and worse and worse due to the circumstance.
Yeah, and maybe even the argument that like people who are actually like good in the core can make and do bad things.
Yeah, exactly.
And you
Like
can't
you're not
just-
always 100% evil. Like Hitler was, but not everyone is 100% evil. You know.
You can't just view someone through like one action. You got to look at the context around it and what's led them to these choices and decisions.
Exactly. Yeah.
God, get us some deeper levels of meaning here with Slicky.
Yeah. Well,
Slicky.
Ricky?
Could have gone with Ricky.
Slicky.
Siren sounded. He seemed astounded, and before long, the little boy got surrounded. He dropped his gun, so went the glory. And this is the way I have to end the story.
Shot down a hail of bullets.
Yeah, it's like he dropped the gun, so went his glory. Is that like he's surrendering himself, or do you think he got shot? Well, I mean, we know the ending because...
I think he's just been surrounded by the cops, and at that point, he's like, he just has to drop the gun. He's not going to shoot at, like, you know, however many cops.
And he doesn't have any bullets in the gun anyway, right? Because that's why he went to Dave.
Well, no, but Dave supplied him with the bullets.
But I thought he gave him a shotgun. He had a pistol to begin with.
Ah, okay. Maybe there's a bit of a flaw in Slicky's song.
I think I don't know how right I am here, but it's that he dropped his gun, so went the glory. Is that saying like it's sort of glorified to be the gangster with the gun and this and that?
That goes
Sort of
out with a blaze of glory.
Yeah, and he's dropped it and then realised the realistic nature of the situation.
Yeah.
And it's taken him out of this, euphoria or whatever he's feeling, and this,
Well, because until this point, he was like not above the cops, but he was one step ahead of them.
Yeah. And this has just forced him to like face reality and be like, oh shit, like this is not a good situation. It's not the path I should have taken. Like this is not as cool as I thought it was going to be, and this and that. Yeah.
He was only 17 in a madman's dream. The cops shot the kid. I still hear him scream.
Yeah, I guess like despite like not actually going out in a blaze of glory, he was still killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once like certain wheels are in motion, past certain thresholds, you can't really go back.
Yeah, and I guess, being black and armed in America is a very dangerous position to land yourself in when you got cops around.
You don't even have to be armed sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think going back to like if the cop had just arrested him on the spot for trying to rob him, probably would never have got to this. But I think because the cop took liberties with him, sort of like highlighting police brutality as well.
Yeah, that's actually
With young
good.
black
That is a good
kids.
point. Like,
And, like,
he exacerbated the situation.
Yeah, like the kid seemed like he was going to go with it until the cop started assaulting him, and that's when he pulled the gun out to defend himself.
Yeah.
And then all of this came from
like if the cop was like, "Hey man, chill out."
where is Dave? Where is Stoner Dave? When we need him?
Dave is actually an undercover cop. This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Just another case about the wrong path. Straight and narrow, or your soul gets cast. Good night.
I remember like when this played on GTA when I was a kid. This song, that bit came on. I just got like chills. Hey,
Yeah.
Should we do a rousing chorus of the outro? Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick.
That's pretty like 19. Like, welcome to the 60s.
That's like vaudeville almost.
30s. When would it be a practical time? 20s?
20s, yeah.
When is this voice?
Yeah, it's like vaudeville and like
Like before the movies, they used to be like, here in the news.
like the circus and the strong men and stuff, and
The Hindenburg went down recently.
Oh, yeah, sorry, no, I'm with you. Yeah. You're talking about in the funny moustache era.
Yeah, like like I guess before the news or whatever. Like you go see a talkie and then
Have like a little gramophone.
Well, they'd play like what's happening in the news is like like Hitler invaded Poland and Eisenhower doesn't know what to do, shit like that, and then you just watch the movie. But it was because before, like now that they got phased out when TVs came around, and you know what I mean. They
I
did
know
it up.
what you mean.
They did it up into the 60s, 70s.
How did we end up here?
Oh no, just because
I'm enjoying it. I love how enthusiastic you are.
I'm
Just very happy.
I'm enjoying your voice acting
Thank you.
today.
I'm enjoying that smile as you do it. You still think you're having such a great time.
I like doing
gonna let
voices.
you go.
Yeah, I just think that that ending, that little outro, just reminds me of that voice.
Yeah.
That's why we got there, guys.
That's how we got there. Sorry,
That's the train of
sorry,
thought.
Sorry, I questioned your logic.
Yeah. No, I was having fun. Good fun episode.
Do you want me to like go through the whole outro?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Oh boy. Actually, you do it. You do it in your voice.
Yeah.
Am I doing it in the 50s voice? Or wait. Or am I doing it as a kid?
No. You're doing it in your 50s voice.
Oh boy, that Uncle Ricky is really weird. I know, right? What does he mean? Straight and narrow, yo, soul gets cast. I don't know. I think he might be cracking it or something. Well, good night. Good night.
That's actually quite a grim ending, that. Because it's almost like the kids have just listened to it and be like, it's just old Slick Rick, Uncle Ricky
It should be
talking
more
nonsense.
like,
and they haven't really
boy.
taken in what he said.
Oh boy, that Uncle Ricky is really weird. I know, he doesn't. I know, right? What does he mean? There's no question mark there. There should be a question mark. It threw me off. Straight now, yo, soul gets cast.
No, that's the end of the question.
Yeah. What?
That's the question marks, like after that line.
Oh,
They had to put it, because it's like a quotation.
Yeah, he's like, what does he mean? Straight now? Yeah, I know, yeah. Fair enough. Cool. Yeah, it makes sense.
So quite sad. It seems as though they didn't take the advice. And is that like what he's trying to say in the bigger picture? No matter how much you can give warning, you're not necessarily going to get that message across to the youth.
Yeah, unless you
unless something else happens,
yourself or it's happened tragically to a friend of yours.
Yeah.
Well, it often does go like when you're a kid, you get like advice often so much, and adults are really trying to make sure you don't make poor decisions, but often you don't. You got to make the mistake itself.
Yeah,
before you can yeah. So maybe that is like as humans, we're just like it's hard to get out of these systems and these cycles.
Yeah, which is a pretty good way of just saying that, like, if people are stuck in these circumstances, situations, it's a vicious cycle again. It's going to keep happening. Yeah. What do we do?
And if you compare, I guess, this to the last song we did, which is 25, 30 years later, it's the same kind
Same
of
thing. Yeah.
What do? We play Slick Rick's children's story every day, at least once per day. A children's story a day. Keeps the what'd you call them? The screws away.
The screws.
Oh, nice little rhyme. You're pulling it back to that Dr. Seuss era.
Tying it all back. I'm glad that we didn't get any more Nazi Germany references in there for you to be making some outlandish comparisons between the two.
Yeah, weirdly, I think I was just because I was.
Oh yeah, did we ever get back to that? Did anything ever pop up?
What?
To strengthen your
Nah.
Ramona would have jumped on that.
Yeah,
I was actually listening to this. I think the Celtic Holocaust, this podcast, which is hardcore history. I think that's what got me onto that. I think learning about your old folks.
The Celtic Holocaust. We talking the Great Famine.
When the Romans just fucking annihilated the Celtic barbarians and people of Gaul
pushed them all off the continental Europe, and
because it was done because apparently 300 years before the Celtic barbarians had kind of sacked the city state of Rome, but there's not even real proof, and that was kind of legend. And then
fuck yeah, we did.
Julius Caesar used that excuse to just go up there and just fuck shit up for no reason.
Just create some narrative and be like, all right, this is what they did to our people. Go and give them hell.
It's like Michael Jordan in the NBA.
Yeah, well, it is interesting how historically we romanticize people. Even if they do wrong, like Julius Caesar and Michael Jordan. Yeah.
I still haven't watched that Michael Jordan series on Netflix.
Very interesting. I recommend.
Yeah, it doesn't make him seem like a bit of a cunt.
Well, and on that note, should we throw some BPMs?
Do you want me to take it away?
Yeah, off you go.
I'm gonna give it high. I just think it's a classic track, beautifully written. I'm gonna go 480. There's you can't take too much away from this track. It's it doesn't glorify. It's it actually has a meaning and a message, and I think especially in the 80s when it was kind of the pop side of it was kind of forming. You got other guys singing about just funky cold Medinas and stuff. This track, actually has a proper message, and I think he's trying to actually convey something, and maybe he might have over the years might have actually inspired some people to go back on the right path or whatever. Yeah.
Totally.
You assume so?
Yeah. I know even me as a kid listening to it on GTA, and then, it's probably helped in some ways over my life. So yeah, good song.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I agree, man. I'll probably go pretty well the same. I'll go 480 as well. Yeah, good message to get across. It gets it across in a very like clear and simple way, but it's like a very creative way about going about it. Like putting it in the context of a children's story and being like self-aware and like, cool song. It's a classic. You can't fight it.
Yeah.
480.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 450. Not trying to like throw shade or trying to really detract from Slick Rick here, but I guess it doesn't have like those historic. But I mean, maybe I shouldn't. So I'm getting myself all tongue tied here. Fuck it, 480.
It's unanimous.
It's a great narrative, and like it doesn't need to be densely packed with like pop culture references like a lot of the other tracks we do and we've kind of become accustomed to. It's just beautiful on its own, and the story it tells. And even like researching it this morning, I was like, oh, there's going to be nothing we can really talk about with this anyway. But having three of us sit around and actually have a conversation about it, you realize that there's a lot more going on to the track, and it's kind of analogous to like the ways of the street, way more than what I was getting just on my own. So guys, thank you.
Yeah, actually, like even the university line, like listen to this track a million times.
I never picked that up until just reading it properly. And I was like,
so yeah, like probably not as much need for us this track than most that we've done, but still,
and again, not the most like technical rap, heavy like technically lyrical song. Like, there's not like many entendres and this and that, but it's just like. Yeah, conveys a story clearly and well, and gets the point across. Sometimes that's the best way to get it across to people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like you don't want to be heavy-handed, but
and it is a children's story, so you have to really tailor it to your market.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you said,
even though it's sort of very PG ending.
Yeah, no.
Don't know how we got through the censor boards with that, but
I wonder if it's actually been adapted into like a children's picture book. Probably has.
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Surely that's a missed opportunity. If not. Pictures might be a bit grim, especially
that's maybe how you market it better to the kids.
Maybe. I love when they get to visiting Dave's crack house, how they get a picture like really drawn out of the book. Have kids read.
I love like the idea of this disheveled crackhead heroin addict. And then just like he walks in and he just like springs up and he's got this like, oh, I got a shotgun, like pops out of a door, comes back with this shotgun. It's like, brand spanking new. I think we could maybe buy the rights, turn it into a fucking book.
Or Dave's life, an origin story for Dave.
Your spin-off series.
They love these prequels.
That's what Hollywood fucking do anyway. They just join in and just make another fucking origin for someone.
We've got to find out how everyone came to be.
Oh, we really do.
Yeah, we're gonna. In the next 10 years is the era of origin stories. Cannot wait.
The rap review spin-off, we specifically go all the songs we've done, all the other characters that are in there. Feel like there's going to be so many for fucking Kendrick.
By the way, Shirani was based on his actual girlfriend in high school.
That was a real girl.
Yeah, I just forgot to mention that last time.
There you go.
Anyway, let's call it a day. That's a long enough outro.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Ciao.